Welcome back. I tried making this video 3 times a couple days back. I was trying it from the other set, so I'll try it from the hockey set, thinking maybe it'll work better in here just for this video, see how it goes. So I'm wearing Blue Jays gear, got the red Blue Jays sweater. This was actually on sale from Van City Sports, so I picked up the red Blue Jays because I like the red Blue Jays jersey. I know they had it for July 1st for Canada Day. I just think it works. I know the team's name is Blue Jays, so blue and red, but fine. It's always been that red in there, anyways, right, with the Maple Leafs. So I've been fine with that. And apparently the crow doesn't like it, but not that I'm concerned. He's just over here to bother the cats. We have birds in the neighborhood that seem to just come over to bother our cats. I don't think other people in the neighborhood have cats. So there's a bird somewhere. There's some kind of a bird union where they've said, hey, so there's these cats. They never go outside. They're just trapped in the house. We can bug them as much as we want. Let's go. See if we can get a rise out of the cats. So I apologize for if you hear the Stellar's Jay, the crow. There's ducks. There's been geese. It's almost like it's a sanctuary that we have here just for the birds. All right. I want to talk about Flash. Or as I referred to it in the Timeless episode I just watched, none of this makes any sense. Now, again, I have a low bar when it comes to comic book TV shows and movies, right? Is it entertaining and does it make some modicum of sense, right? A little bit of sense, just a little, just a touch, just some sort of a logic, even if it doesn't work as actual science. And 9 times out of 10, what you hear in these movies and in these TV shows, whether it's Marvel or DC, is junk. And it's like, well, that's not actually how physics works, but okay, in this universe, I will suspend my disbelief that that's how physics works, right? So the problem I had with this week's episode, so they brought back Harrison Wells. I don't understand. They brought back Harrison Wells for another send-off. He's had a lot of send-offs. I really wish what they had done, just put Harrison Wells back on the show. The regular Harrison Wells. Just do it. But instead it's this timeless Wells, and it's this. He's going to live out the rest of his life reliving the same things over and over again, because that's not depressing. So, yeah, it's depressing. That somebody's going, well, my future doesn't matter, so I'm just going to keep reliving my past. Really? I understand he regretted losing his wife, and that was really hard on him, but I guess moving on doesn't exist in this universe. Which is fine, because Iris had an argument with Barry. Barry's evil. Anytime that Barry says to somebody, I'll protect you, come to Star Labs. Honestly, if Barry Allen ever shows up at your job and says, hi, you're in danger, I need to protect you, my recommendation is pepper spray is 1. 2, failing that, just tell him to go away. Just tell him to leave. You have a much better chance of living a lot longer if you tell him to leave. However, because none of this makes any sense, all of a sudden Iris has a connection to the Speed Force, to Barry, she has this magical thing. It's not related to the magical thing that she had with the Mirror Universe that disappeared when the Queen of the Mirror Universe went back into the Mirror Universe to start her own universe, and nobody went, is that a good idea? Everybody went, cool, start your own universe, don't go insane. She's totally going to go insane. So she's going to turn into Janet. She's going to create her own people, and they're all going to be messed up, and it's going to be Janet from the good place, but evil Janet from the bad place, right? So there you go. None of it makes any sense. Not like I'm watching this episode, and I'm watching what Cisco is talking about with Barry, and okay, so we created these forces of nature. Got it. So we'll go back in time and uncreate the forces of nature. Now Cisco, being the smart one, says, it's not like Flashpoint. We go back in time, and when we go back in time, we change the future and we create a new timeline. And Harry goes, no, I'm going to create a time bubble to protect the days from then until now. And everybody went, okay. And I raised my hand, thusly, said, I have many questions. How? What kind of MacGuffin is this? People get mad at Doctor Who because over certain seasons and with certain doctors, the sonic screwdriver gets them out of everything. It is just everything. Everything. There's just some. Okay, here's the Sonic. I don't. How does he get out of the trash compactor? I don't know. Sonic screwdriver works for me. How does he convince the Suntarans not to destroy the universe? I don't know. Sonic screwdriver. Cool. How does he convince Rose to go into the other universe and not come back? I don't know. Sonic screwdriver. Sure. Now those aren't the things that actually happened, but it's feasible that they would make that happen, isn't it? Because Doctor Who always seems to fall back on it, which is why I was glad when they went to Sonic sunglasses with the 12th Doctor. I know people didn't like the sunglasses. I did because I had a pair that looked just like them, so I'm like, cool, I've already got that. But the thing is, it needs to logically make sense in that universe. And to me, what happened in Flash this week was they took 4 or 5 different ideas that could have been fleshed out into their own episode, and they just squashed it all together. So the Speed Force is evil. We saw that coming, didn't we? I mean, did anybody not see that coming? But maybe we can talk her out of it because she's like our kids. Okay, and Psyche's one of our kids. Okay, sure, yeah. So you birthed these villains, and apparently, if you're in the know, you know that they're bringing in Flash's kids. So Excess is coming back, which is good. I love Jessica Parker Kennedy. I think she's fantastic. I think she can make it work when even the dialogue's kind of stupid. She still makes it work. She manages to make it work, but I don't understand, and I understand too. They're creating Godspeed and the forces of the universe thing. I think they needed to show a little more of what they were, and now Barry and Iris can bring them back from the dead, because that's the thing. Now they can reanimate the dead, so they're creating zombies. We just don't know it yet. I don't get it. So it started off as Flash was just a show about a guy who ran really fast and fought bad guys. And I was really hoping this season we would get back to that after the Mirrorverse thing, which just got so convoluted and stupid. And at no point has Iris sat down with Barry apparently and said, so you were sleeping with a woman that looked like me but wasn't me, and you never figured out it wasn't me. We need to have a chat. That conversation hasn't happened. And I would think most wives would make that conversation happen probably immediately after emerging from the Mirrorverse. The first thing they'd say is, I'm glad I'm out of there. And the second thing is, you were sleeping with a woman that's not me. How did you not understand? How did you not know that it wasn't me? Because she was glitching and stuff. Weren't things a little different? So, again, and they just gloss everything over. This is what's starting to drive me nuts. There was an episode where Allegra, nowhere to be found, and I'm like, where's Allegra? And then the next episode, she's just there spotting, I think she was spotting Killer Frost, and I'm like, okay, so she was just waiting in the weight room for somebody to spot. And then Killer Frost just takes off and gets Allegra to lie for her, and I'm like, oh, great, now Allegra's got to wait a whole episode till somebody else comes in to lift weights so she can spot them. Is she allowed to use the washroom in the meantime? And then Chester, he's there, and next week he's gone. The next week he's back. There's no explanation of why anybody's gone. There's no explanation for why anybody's back. This is why when they've revealed that Cisco's leaving the show, doesn't matter. You don't even have to announce he's leaving. Just have him not there. And then at the end of the season, he can just show up. Hey guys, I was just hanging out in the back room. Hey Cisco, nice to see you. You've been in that back room for 6 months. Well, you know. And then they all laugh and we forget about it. I understand that shows do go downhill. I get it. But for me, a lot of what's gone on with Flash just feels like it's kind of lazy. And like, again, there's things that are happening here that I'm like, that would make a really good episode. Oh, okay, so that's not happening. Hey, that could make it interesting. Oh, no, we're just glossing that over too. We could follow. No, they're dead. And it just, they're alive again. And when characters are dying and coming back to life all the time, it takes the impact of that death away. Like with WandaVision, right? If Wanda actually brought Vision back to life and kept him alive, it kind of takes away some of that emotional heft of what happens in not Endgame, but in Infinity War, right? Avengers Infinity War. And I think that the Flash does that now, where somebody dies and I go, well, we'll see. It's like, oh, well, Killer Frost is off to Iron Heights. She's in jail for the rest of her life. Yeah, I don't believe that. No, Cisco's leaving. Okay, so he'll be a reoccurring character next year. He wasn't a reoccurring character last year. Like, haven't we already been through this? He was going to leave and then he didn't. And now the Flash himself, Grant Gustin, may leave after next season. And looking at this year and what's going on, I don't blame him. Because reading the scripts, I can't imagine the actors reading these scripts are going, I have a really clear understanding of what's going on here. I would be headed to the writers and going, question, what is any of this crap? What are we doing and why? Why is it that we're messing with time travel? We're just throwing that in. I can bring people back from the dead. We're throwing that in. I've created these forces with the lightning. How? How did it create it? How did the new Speed Force thing? How did that create them? Can we get it? We're not going to get into any of that. Are we going to get into it later? Why are my kids coming in when we haven't figured any of this out? So it's just, but I have to keep watching it because I've watched so many episodes and I've watched for so many years, and I still have faith that it'll get better. And that is the that is the sad statement that you make as a fan of a TV show, is that even as it's going down in quality, you're like, but it's going to get better, or they'll figure this out, right? Eventually with The Walking Dead, I had to go, you know what? This is what the show is. It's not going to be any different. They're going to keep dicking us around, putting characters in, making us care about them, and then killing them that same episode after they become useful. This is just how The Walking Dead's going to work, and off. And I haven't gone back, and it's been years. And I apologize that Lauren Cohen's on the show and I still don't watch it, because I always swore I would watch anything Lauren Cohen was in, back when she was on Supernatural and they killed her off because the fans didn't like her. She was going to be Dean's girlfriend, I think was where they were headed with that. And then they went, nope, kill her off. And it's, oh, okay, fine. All right, fine. I want to talk about Legends of Tomorrow as well. Legends of Tomorrow is kind of making me feel similar feelings, but not for the same reasons. So, again, if you haven't watched Legends yet this year, I'm going to get into some spoilers. I didn't really spoil anything with Flash because, thankfully, if you're worried about spoilers, I don't understand what the hell's going on. So, there you go. With Legends, I understand what's going on. I just don't understand why. So, Legends, they've gone through demons, they've gone through the whole John Constantine thing, and it's starting to feel like John Constantine's time on the show is coming to an end. I know it's not, but it feels like it should be, right? He's not really geared to deal with aliens, and they've kind of just, okay, we'll throw in a new spell book for dealing with aliens. Oh, okay. And it takes so much energy that it'll kill John. But as soon as he stops, all of the energy comes back and he's magically back to perfect health. How does that work? I mean, I jog on this thing. I did almost 6 miles on this yesterday. It's not like when I stopped, I went, and I'm fully back to 100% energy level. This is great. All the pain's gone, everything. I'm sorry, but if I was on that for 40 or 50 miles and it was draining my life force away, you can't just turn off the treadmill and then I'm just magically back to normal. So John being magically back to normal drove me nuts. I did do like a nerdy reaction. I celebrated when they showed Zari 1.0 still in the totem, which led to all kinds of awkward conversations. I immediately said to Yvonne, I said, so when John's fooling around with the other version of her, she can hear that from inside the totem? And she's just bored constantly. Like, is she just sitting there reading? Whose magazine was she reading? Where did that come from? Is she just sitting there waiting for nothing to happen forever? It's weird. So it makes me wonder if Zari 1.0 eventually is going to come out of the totem, because it's bizarre. And then she just, I'm going to make 2 totems. When did that become a how did she do that? I've heard enough. 2 totems. How did you? Can we get into how you did this? And Zari and her brother just kind of react with, cool, got 2 now. No, like, can we? That should have been alarming to them or something. I don't understand that. So, okay, this is sort of similar to Flash. I don't understand that. And then the aliens part is, the part that doesn't work for me. Okay, so the first episode. It's the first episode. They had Sean Roberts. Now, Sean Roberts played Wesker in the Resident Evil movies. He was also in A Little Bit Zombie, a nice Canadian zombie movie that if you haven't seen A Little Bit Zombie, I highly recommend it. It is one of the best zombie movies I've seen that doesn't feel like a zombie movie, because it kind of sort of isn't. And it's some of the jokes in it are absolutely great. The acting in it I thought was great. And my favorite was Sean Roberts. he is so hammy, and he just doesn't take it seriously. So when Spartacus is being played, and that Spartacus from centuries ago is being played by him, I immediately freaked out. I had to pause. Because I PVR it, right? So I had to pause the PVR and say, "Oh my God, it's Sean Roberts and he's Spartacus. This is the greatest thing ever." And then when Sarah called him Sparty, I flipped out again. So a friend of mine at my former workplace was pregnant, and I said, "You know what a great name for a baby is? Spartacus." And this is before there was Spartacus series. This is before Spartacus was everywhere again and all that. And she's like, I'm not naming my baby Spartacus. And I said, but everybody would love baby Sparty, and nobody messes with Spartacus. So it got to the point where everybody was referring to her unborn baby as Spartacus and Sparty. And so when she had the baby, who was a girl, we still said, "How's little Sparty doing?" Until it was obvious that the joke had run its course. But when Sarah said Sparty to Spartacus, I flipped out. I was like, that's great. It's Sparty, because it took me right back to that moment. And it was great. And he doesn't last very long and he dies, but he was still great. And all I could think was, oh my God, Sean Roberts would be a perfect addition to the Legends. He would be, he's hammy, he's over the top. Mick Rory, Dominic Purcell, who plays Mick Rory, is leaving at the end of this season. If they could find a way to get Sean Roberts into a similar role with the Legends, bring him in as a different character, it's not like you haven't brought in doppelgangers before. I think he'd be a great addition. But that's just me. That's just me. The problem I had with that episode, Gary, it doesn't work. Gary being an alien does not work on any level. It just, there's so many things about them revealing Gary as an alien that I'm like, that doesn't function at all on this show. There are so many things you can look back on previous seasons with Gary that do not make sense if he's an alien. You're like, okay, knowing what we know now, where he's apparently an alien, that doesn't work. That doesn't work. The whole nipple thing doesn't actually work if he's an alien, because they don't have them. So that's the problem I have with that. And yet the show's been entertaining. I thought last week was okay. It's definitely not the best season so far, but I'm still holding out hope it's going to get better. And my only problem with it is they're artificially keeping Sarah and Ava apart just because. So it's Ava's got to get used to being captain, prove herself as captain. But I don't, it just, it's not clicking for me, really. And I understand the whole, well, she's going to propose. Since when? And I watched the finales of last year. I watched the last 3 episodes of last year and then the first episode from this year. And it felt like there was an episode missing out of the middle where I'm like, wait, they were partying with people on the Wave Rider? I'm pretty sure there's all kinds of protocols that would go against that. And there'd be a lot more questions raised than answered. And then they're just gone off the Wave Rider. And there's so many things that just don't work with that. And I know you can do the flash 'em thing with Men in Black, and Mick Rory was the parent in the situation, which was funny. It is funny with Mick being the more responsible one. But again, we'll see if it clicks. The whole Gary being an alien. I'm kind of hoping, and I know this is really convoluted, I'm kind of hoping that Gary's not actually an alien, that it's an alien that's pretending to be Gary so people will like him, and that the real Gary's somewhere else. And I know that's a reach. It's not going to happen, is it? So we'll see how things go. Let me know in the comment section below if you're watching Legends and how you feel about this season so far. And Flash. Am I the only one watching Flash and going, wait, what? What? No, go back. What are you talking about? I created this to collect that, and we did this to collect this, and this has happened with this, and oh, well, this has been done to this, and I'm like, everything they explain, I'm like, no, wait, you didn't explain that. They used to try to explain things. Now they just don't even try. It's like, yeah, so this happened. Why? Why did that? Oh, okay, we're going to the next scene. So I wanted to talk a bit about baseball here. So the baseball power ranking's still not up and all of that. I'm going to have to modify the whole baseball thing because I had severely underestimated the amount of work that baseball and keeping up with the day-to-day would be, where there's 14, 15 games per day, sometimes 16 with double headers and everything. It's a lot. It's a lot of info. I was even talking to my wife last night, and I said, if the video I had that had gone viral, the first video had been baseball, and if I had decided to be the baseball guy, I don't know that I would have been able to survive. I don't know that I would have been able to do reviews and previews of everything. I don't think I would have been able to. I think it would have been one game of the day. I would have been like, this is game of the day I'm going to review. This is the game of the day I'm going to preview. And that would have been it. But yeah, so baseball, as hockey winds down and it's done so, we've got very few regular season games left. They're all in the north. Playoffs get started tomorrow in hockey. I'll be able to devote more time and attention to baseball. I've been slowly ramping it up. And I know enough right now that San Diego, they're going to blow it. But the Blue Jays right now have the wild card spot in the American League, so maybe the Blue Jays are going to get there. We'll see, right? But that is yet to come, as is more frustration from me probably regarding Flash. Again, these are the only shows I watch, so it's not like, well, stop watching them then, because there isn't a lot else that I watch. Like, we watched the whole season of Nailed It, the new season where they're paired up. It is entertaining. The thing with Nailed It, there does seem to be a law of diminishing returns, that the first few times you watch it, you're like, wow, this is all so ridiculous. I can't believe people couldn't do that. And then it starts to sink in of, I couldn't make that in an hour. I can't do that. I think they did pretty good, because there's no way in Hades I can do that. No chance. And in some of the foreign Nailed It's too, they just show these cakes and I'm like, that is so intricate. That is ridiculous. How do you expect anybody to be able to make that? And then they reveal what they've made and all the hosts laugh. And I'm sitting there looking at it going, I couldn't have done that. So kudos to them for making the effort. But yeah, so there you go. Let me know your thoughts. And of course, we did watch the most recent series of Hell's Kitchen, which I think was the best. This year's Hell's Kitchen, I think, was the best season they've had. And that's saying something. I think this season was really, really well done. And I liked who won. I also liked the runner-up. I was kind of hoping that they'd find a way to maybe share the prize or something where the number one winner gets the grand prize, but the number two gets something really, really good as well. It's okay, though. I think they're going to be getting their own show on the Food Network, because I think that's a rule. If you've been on either MasterChef or Hell's Kitchen, you get a shot at a show on the Food Network. So, all right, there you go. And I have to say, I'm very grateful that I'm not going to have to hear as many of the same commercials over and over and over again watching hockey. There's been some commercials that just drive me completely insane. Not Liberty Mutual, though. Those are gold. Those are pretty gold commercials. And really, it's funny how American insurance commercials are generally some of the best commercials on TV. The Geico ones always make me laugh. And then the Canadian ones, as far as I can tell, the Canadian ones just don't have that oomph to them. So, yeah. Maybe I'll do a video at some point on my favorite Geico videos, because there's some really good ones. But, yeah, let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through, you just happened upon this video. And yes, there will be more content going up on this channel going forward. It will not be a problem, because I'm able to get most of my videos done relatively early on the hockey channel as the regular season is kaputz. Thank you guys so much for all your support, though, along the way. This channel does still see growth, which is fantastic, considering we've been posting mostly bunny and kitty videos. My wife's been doing that, so she's been doing it to make sure the numbers on the channel stay numbers. I don't know how much longer the channel necessarily stays monetized. No idea. I would think that I'm flirting with being below the line to stay monetized on this channel, and I don't know if I even would be concerned. If it lost its monetization status, I can't see myself abandoning the channel or not making content for it. I'd just be like, all right, so this is volunteer work, which happens. All right, thank you guys so much for all your support. Do hit like and subscribe if you're browsing right through, you just happened upon this video. And yes, I will talk to you again soon.